Just then, Evelyn's mother charged at me and spun me around and began pushing my chair out of her house and towards the busy street. I only managed to engage the emergency brake just in time to avoid being pushed into traffic. As a result, Evelyn's mother lost her footing and slammed down hard onto the sidewalk. As she got up, she made a move to grab my chair and try to tip it, and so I slapped her as hard as I could to make her back away. Once she did, I turned the brake off and got out of there as quickly as I could. Hi there, my name is Curtis, and I have quite the story to share with you. It's quite the ride actually, and involves quite a bit of drama, although I really wish that that wasn't the case. At any rate, my story begins just after college. I had just graduated from law school and was looking to find a firm that would hire me. Thankfully, my good grades had already gotten me some attention from a few firms, and I was trying to decide which one to work for when I saw the most beautiful woman I had ever seen in a coffee shop. I knew that I had to introduce myself, and so I went over and said hi and told her my name. At first, she was a bit hesitant to speak with me, but I put the charm on, and within a few minutes, she was laughing, and we were making plans to go out on a date. She told me her name was Evelyn, and that she had just graduated from medical school and was on the fast track to becoming a surgeon. I found this fascinating, of course, and I knew that she and I would make for a great pair. I was of course worried that she would stand me up though. After all, I can be pretty charming, but there is a major catch. You see, not everyone can get past the fact that I'm in a wheelchair. Sadly, I was born with a rare condition that made my legs useless. I still have feeling in them, but sadly, I will never be able to walk. But I have come to terms with it, and I have never let it hold me back. But it is a hard thing for most people to accept. So when Evelyn showed up, and we ended up having a lovely time, I was beyond happy. The next few months were wonderful. We went on dates and really got to know one another. I was so happy that she was incredibly intelligent and had a great sense of humor too. We were madly in love, but then it came time to introduce each other to the other's family. Mine was very welcoming and accepted Evelyn with open arms, but Evelyn's side did not go so well. Her father had left her mother and Evelyn when she was very young, and Evelyn had told me that her mother had hated men ever since, but something told me that she didn't care for me because of other reasons.
Hello, Mother. This is Curtis.
This is Curtis? Are you sure you didn't leave half of him outside?
Mother.
Oh, it's okay, Evelyn. Your mother just has a very good sense of humor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, it was just a bad joke. Nice to meet you, Kurt.
I of course knew that it wasn't a joke, and that she very clearly didn't like me very much. The fact that she shortened my name from 2 syllables to 1 only reinforced the fact that she hated me. I tried not to take it personally, but I knew that it probably had something to do with my being in a wheelchair. Perhaps she hated all men, but she especially hated me. Over the next few years, Evelyn's mother would constantly ask her if she was still dating Wheels. It was a derogatory nickname that she had given me. Although she never said it to my face, she always used it over the phone when she spoke with Evelyn. As annoying as she was, I chose to ignore her. After all, I was in love with Evelyn and not her mother. So while it bothered me that she hated me so much, I knew that it didn't really matter since Evelyn and I were in love and were making plans to get married once she finished her residency. Around the same time, I was being offered a position as a junior partner in the law firm that I worked for. Things were really looking up for us. At least they were until Evelyn began working more chaotic hours at the hospital. Her shifts were longer than they used to be, and she was always tired when she was home. I felt sympathy for her because it looked as though they were working her to the bone. I was incredibly worried for her, and I wanted her to take a step back before she burned herself out, but she wouldn't listen. My love, you need to remember that you are only human, and if you keep going like this, you'll burn out.
It's okay. I can handle it.
Evelyn, you're working too hard. You need to rest more.
Work? Oh, yes. I know, but I need to put in my time until I get a full-time position. I just need you to be patient.
I can be patient, but I hate seeing you burning the candle at both ends like this. I was so worried about Evelyn, and when she started to get thinner than she already was, and began to have dark circles around her eyes all the time, I knew that something wasn't right. I tried to go to her mother to tell her that I needed her help to convince Evelyn that she needed to slow down and prioritize her health, but she was no use. Something is wrong, and she needs us to support her. Please, I need you to help convince her to slow down. She is passionate about her job, but if she keeps going like this, she will kill herself.
Hardly. All she needs to drop the dead weight. That dead weight being you. My daughter is going to really make something of herself, and she doesn't need to date someone as disgusting as you. I doubt that you could even give me a grandchild. I bet nothing below the waist works on you. Honestly, I don't know why Evelyn would ever date some cripple.
Can you be sensible for 1 minute? Your daughter needs you, and all you can think about is how much you hate me. Forget about me for a minute, and just focus on the fact that your daughter needs your help. Just then, Evelyn's mother charged at me and spun me around, and began pushing my chair out of her house and towards the busy street. I only managed to engage the emergency brake just in time to avoid being pushed into traffic. As a result, Evelyn's mother lost her footing and slammed down hard onto the sidewalk. As she got up, she made a move to grab my chair and try to tip it, and so I slapped her as hard as I could to make her back away. Once she did, I turned the brake off and got out of there as quickly as I could. The next day, I woke up to the sounds of breaking glass. I raced outside and saw Evelyn throwing rocks through the windows of my car. What are you doing?
What does it look like? I'm making you suffer for attacking my mother. How dare you try to rape her?
What are you talking about? I went to see her to get her to help you. You've been acting very chaotic lately, and I'm really worried about you. That's all.
Oh yeah? Is that why she has a black eye and fat lip and scrapes all over her body? You disgust me.
That isn't what happened. Your mother attacked me and tried to push me into traffic. I was just defending myself. Just then, Evelyn threw a rag soaked in lighter fluid that was on fire into my car. Within seconds, the whole thing was engulfed in flames.
I don't believe you, and I can't imagine why I was ever attracted to a cripple like you. My mother was right. You're barely half a man.
Yeah. She left before the fire department arrived, and even they arrived too late to save my car. It was a custom-built one too that was made specifically for me, so that I could drive. I could not believe what had happened. Evelyn had let her mom turn her against me, and over something that I didn't even do. Part of me was still in love with her, but at the same time, I wanted nothing to do with her. Instead, I reached out to her friends and begged them to get help for her, but Evelyn's mother had poisoned their opinions of me as well. More than a few told me that they were glad that Evelyn had been cheating on me now, knowing that I was a monster that would attack Evelyn's mother. They would not believe me when I tried to tell them the truth. In the end, I sued Evelyn and had her charged with the destruction of my property. The court awarded me $32,000 in damages, which helped me to replace the car she had destroyed, but the only other punishment they gave her was dozens of hours of community service. It was a slap on the wrist, really, but I didn't care. I was no longer tied down to her, and that was enough to make me feel some relief. That is, until a few years later, when a client approached me and wanted to sue Evelyn for medical malpractice. As it turned out, the man that Evelyn had cheated on me with had introduced her to drugs, and she got hooked. It was the real reason that she was always tired and looked like death warmed over. Well, her addiction affected her job, and she was making constant mistakes and nearly cost my client their life as a result. We ended up suing her for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and she ended up losing her license as a result. After that, her life took a huge turn for the worse. Without a job to pay for her addiction, her and her boyfriend ended up stealing in order to get money to buy drugs. It didn't take long for them to get arrested and sent to prison. After that, she was in and out of jail for years before I finally lost track of her. As for her mother, the stress of her daughter being in and out of jail caused her to have a stroke which left her severely paralyzed. She lost all function on the left side of her body and was confined to a wheelchair. One day while out shopping, I happened to see her in the same shop. I could tell that she was hoping that I wouldn't notice her, and her eyes bulged out of their sockets when she saw that I noticed her and made my way over to her. I could see that she was terrified, and I relished that fact. All I did was lean over towards her. "Good to see you out and about." Wheels. Then I smiled and winked and left her there stunned and in shock. I was just happy to have dodged a bullet. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.